I'm wearing red because I'm a communist. And we want to keep this color for ourselves. Because some of them came out wearing red and being Nazis. Their colors aren't red. Their colors are brown. Like shit. And they should keep it that way. So, I'm in Orlando, as you all know. And after the shooting in Jacksonville, these shit waffles decided to descend upon Orlando to do their little parade. I told you I'm going to go ham on them. Oh, by the way, just as a viewer discretion, I'm going to let you guys know there will be insults. There's going to be insults. I'm going to be calling these people out of their names. As a communist, I have no respect for anybody who goes into this type of ideology that wants to eliminate people like me. This is an ideology that wants to exterminate me. Y'all know I'm black, disabled, and gay, and a communist. What? I'm one of the people that they hate the most. So, of course, expect me to call them outside of their names. Because they not only want to eliminate me, but they want to eliminate a lot of you. So just letting you guys know. So I'm going to share this first video. And shout out to News to Share and Ford Fisher. They were out in Altamont Springs, which is north of Orlando, yesterday. This all happened yesterday, by the way. So you guys can see exactly what was going on. Now, I saw the whole raw footage on Twitter. I ain't calling it X. It's still Twitter. And so I saw it. And so this is more condensed. Shout out to Ford Fisher for this. The link to his page is also in the chat. I'm sorry, in the description, as well as the link to these videos so you guys can actually watch it. Just to let you guys know, the caption here says primary source documentary footage for news, historical, and educational purposes only. News shared does not condone views recorded. So, just letting you guys know that News to Share is just sharing this raw footage as documentation. All right? So, let's share. Dear God. Anywho, let's go. So,
those four fishies. There he is, the fat boy.
So this is the Nazi group called Blood Tribe. So they are a neo-Nazi group. This was not the only neo-Nazi group that was in Orlando, by the way. There was a second neo-Nazi group as well in Orlando. One was in Altamont Springs, which is a Blood Tribe. And then you had the Order of the Black Sun that was out in front of Disney World for obvious reasons. So there were two neo-Nazi groups, two factions of neo-Nazi groups that descended upon Orlando over the weekend. So this is the first one that I'm showing you. This next one I will show you as well. Now, There are some things that they're going to be saying that is going to be like, wait, what? You're going to go, what did you say? Trust and believe there are going to be some parts that you're going to be curious about. There's going to be some parts you're actually going to laugh your ass off about because they are cartoonishly stupid. But let's continue.
Jesus, baby! Fucking pedo!
We just have to start a fire. We have to just start a fire.
How do you do that?
We're the kindling. And once we set the fire, we get the fire hot, then we get the rest of our brothers blazing.
And how do you do that?
Be the vanguard. Stick up for ourselves.
You know,
Being a vanguard? Being a vanguard. That sounds... Let's continue. Just I want you guys to listen to the language that they use. This is very important now. Listen to the language. Listen to the phrases that he uses. Keep your eye out for this. This is important. This is why we have to know who our enemies are.
Stand up. Don't be afraid. Show no fear.
What are you doing now? Right today, what are you going now and what are you going to do? What will I achieve?
We're doing what you see. We're gathering together.
good to see you again.
Protecting our boys.
You must be the Junos in Wisconsin.
Right?
No comment.
You earned your colors, I see.
How's it going?
What are you guys marching
Are you
for?
worried about white power?
Are you worried? Are you afraid?
No.
How could you be so brave? How could you be so brave? Are you scared? The fans will come. Oh my God, we're coming for you. We're getting the pitchforks. We're coming for you.
I believe that was staged. Set up by
It's the same language. You hear it? It's the same language. Time and time again. How could you be so...
Free speech, public sidewalk. I study law. Free speech. Traditional public forum. I'm just asking because we've seen patriots.
White power! Your country's getting turned to shit. The UK looks like garbage. 40% of London's white now. What the fuck?
So, Cue Ball just said that 40% of the country is white. That, first of all, that's not true. The country is roughly about 60% white still. So the country is still majority white. This male warrior basically is fear-mongering about the country becoming less white. I hate to break it. No, I don't hate to break it to you. I actually love to break it to you. Most of the people on the planet are not white. You were never the majority. Y'all were never the majority. Most of the people on the planet are black and brown. Oh my God. Who let Megamind out of his cave? Oh my God. Forehead so big, I'm afraid he's going to read my mind. All right, let's continue. I told y'all I'm a clown on these dipshits. Let's go.
Stick up for yourself. Stick up for yourself.
The only place that this multicultural crap is happening is in white countries.
Bullshit. Bullshit. All right? Dude with the shades on trying to look like a Cyclops from the X-Men when he's not in battle. He is like, oh, well, the only country that has multicultural is white countries. No, because guess what? What happened in South Africa? What was it called? Apartheid? Why were we having apartheid? Oh, was it because it was being ruled and taken over by white people? Don't white people live in African countries? Oh, yeah. And other races, too. Don't white people also live in places like Japan, China, Philippines? Don't white people live in places like India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan? Don't they live? Wait, don't they live there too? There's an African population. There's literally an African population in China. By 2020, there were an estimated 500,000 Africans living in China, with the majority living in Guangzhou. So these countries like India and China are not as homogenous as you think. But this is what happens when you don't educate yourself. This is what happens when you follow demagogues and you follow the people who are at the top who want to blame everything on people that are marginalized that have no power. You blindly follow and say stupid shit. All right. Let's continue.
It's not happening anywhere.
Why?
Why is that? Why is it not happening in India, in China? Why just white countries?
They have ethnic.
Like I said, it's not happening in just white countries. People move around and people go different places. God, 75% of Puerto Rico is white. I bet you didn't know that. And some of them are white Puerto Ricans. 75% of Puerto Rico is white. The fuck? These guys don't educate themselves. Look. Hold on. Let me enlarge. Look. Google is free, you know. It's free. Anyway. Golly.
Citizenship laws.
How's it feel to be
Why can't we? Fuck, that's called equality.
Do white people?
I'm so sweaty this time.
So I'm gonna come back here for a second, but there's some things that dude in the leather vest was saying that should be causes of concern when it comes to many of us. So I'm going to play this, but listen to what he says and how he says it.
Stick up for your fucking self.
So what does that mean? Does that mean violence?
No, it doesn't mean violence.
What we're doing now, isn't it?
All of our goals can be achieved non-violent.
Oh God. These are wait. You're the non-violent Nazis. These are the non-violent. Wait, Christopher. Non-violent fast. Exactly. Like what the fuck? What? These guys are like, oh, we're non-violent. What? Dipshit said what? Oh my God. This is crazy. He's like, oh, we're not violent. Bullshit. All right. I don't know if I can get through this. All right, let's continue.
achieve nonviolence. The most violence is on y'all's side. Subjugation of our race.
Subjugation? Okay, hang on. Quiz time. Are white people subjugated? Are white people subjugated? Hang on. Do. Look, I know it's a serious subject, but they deserve to be clowned on, bro. They deserve to be clowned on. That's why I'm laughing, because they deserve it. They have no idea. I'm going to tell you this. Hang on. I'm going to tell you this. If these dudes had to live the way people like that look like me live through, they would have harmed themselves out of existence a long time ago. I am using my words very carefully. They don't have the guts to go through what we went through. By the way, I'm willing to, how much of you are willing to bet that half of those dudes that are standing there, half of those cornstarch warriors that are standing there are willing, half of them, their ancestors, their family came to this country back in the early 1900s. How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet their ancestors came here in the early 1900s from Ellis Island? Meanwhile, my ancestors were here for over 300 years. So their ancestors were here for about 100. Them and their ancestors. My ancestors came here involuntarily, by force, and we've been here for over 300 to 400 years. Look, my 5th great-grandfather was born in 1792. 1792. Just a good less than 20 years after this country actually became a country. My ancestors. So who has more of a claim to this country? Oh. Maybe they should go back to Europe. But even then, I still don't have as much of a claim to the country as my indigenous brothers and sisters. Shout out to Delilah. My indigenous sister. She has more of a claim to this country than I do. Because their ancestors have been here for thousands of years. And yet these guys are like, oh, we want this country for ourselves. Motherfucker, please. It was never yours to begin with. Trying to claim shit. All right, so keep listening. He's going to say some crazy shit.
That's what we stand against. The reason that you presuppose that there would be violence is because you are ready to use violence to stop us.
No, we not, because you guys were committing violence against people back in the 1930s and the 1940s, because that's your ideology. You want to exterminate people that looks like me. That's what it is. It's not peaceful, non-violent. See, they're trying to sanitize their history. I'm not going to sanitize the communist history, because guess what? The communists actually kicked the shit out of the Nazis. And now they're butthurt because they got defeated almost 100 years ago because their ideology is dog shit and they are the minority in the world. And the world said, hell no, fuck that. We're not dealing with this shit. And so now they're sitting there, got their whitey tighties in a bunch because they can't have the white country to themselves, even though, guess what? if y'all really want to have a white country, then I don't know, France, Belgium, Iceland, whatever the fuck you guys want to go. But even then, those countries don't want that either. They want an all-white ethno-state on a planet where the majority of people are non-white. And I'm going to get to the point in a second, but just, anyway.
When you say
you and all of the people on that side of the fence, white subjugators, you work for that team. Kites, jewelry, capitalism.
What'd he say? Wait a minute. Yo, hang on. Wait, listen to that again.
Capitalism, billionaires.
He said capitalism, billionaires?
Billionaires. Kites, jewelry, capitalism, billionaires. That's your side.
See what I said? That's when this takes a shift. And you're like, wait, what? Because Nazis were pro-capitalist. What is this guy saying? And this is the dangerous part. Because everybody and their mama now knows that capitalism doesn't work. But they're using revolutionary terminology, and this is the serious part, in order to recruit white people to think that their lives would be better if they just created a white ethno-state. They're using revolutionary language in order to do it. And that's the dangerous part. And this is why we need to be careful of who we listen to. Because there will be some people that will say, oh yeah, I'm a communist, or I'm a socialist, or I'm an anarchist. And yet when it comes to actual social issues, without using dialectical materialism and intersectionality, they can go from being on the side of the working class multiculturally to being on the exclusively white working class that wants to get rid of everybody else. That's the dangerous part. And that's what we need to be cognizant of. So, let's continue.
I know you're tired because you still have a job.
Christopher, there's a trend. Or what do you think is going to happen?
My vote is useless. I think Biden's better than Trump because he sends rockets to Ukraine.
He said he thinks Biden is better than Trump because Biden is sending rockets to Ukraine. I want all the NAFO trolls to hear this right now. You guys actually agree with Nazis. The Nazis agree with NAFOs. Yup. Any words from the NAFOs? Any word from them? The Nazis agree with you.
In support of Ukraine, you mean?
Hell Ukraine. Hell Asia.
Tell me this, Christopher. You are, a sizable gathering, but fairly small. How big does this need to become? And how big do you see it becoming? Paint a picture of this movement.
We just have to start a fire. We have to just start a fire.
How do you do that?
We're the kindling. And once we set the fire, we get the fire hot, then we get the rest of our brothers blazing.
And how do you do that?
Be the vanguard. Stick up for ourselves.
So that's basically where the other video was at. So now they're saying, well, no, we actually like Biden because he's giving money to the Azov battalion. We actually like that he's doing that. And who has been saying that Biden's been giving funding in Ukraine to Nazis? Who's been saying it this entire time? Oh, RBN, Glenn Greenwald, Jimmy Dore, Danny Haiphong, Black Agenda Report, Indie News Network, Due Dissidents, Heartlands Media. We've been saying this. We've been saying this the entire time. And who confirms it? Nazis. They're like, yeah. They like the fact that Biden's giving money to Nazis. How much more confirmation do you need? Gray Zone, yes, thank you for helping me out. That's the thing. People just, they're like, oh, no, we got to give money to Ukraine to stop Putin. We got to stop Putin. Dear God. All right, so there's more. All right. All right, so let me go back to the tube. These guys. See, this is why we got to be very careful. Okay. So let's go to what this guy says.
Indians deserve their own homeland. Chinese deserve their own homeland. Africans their own homeland. There's nothing racist about that.
If he actually thinks that, then let me ask this question. When will the United States, Portugal, France, and other European countries get out of Africa? They literally had to have coups in Africa in places like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Gabon to kick France out. If you actually feel this way, then where is the support for getting these imperialist and colonialist countries out of Africa? I would like to note for the record that Twinkle Toes over here, his life would not be as good as it was if not for the imperialism and extraction of resources from Africa. His life would not be as good without the labor from my ancestors. His life would not be as good if they didn't steal this land from the indigenous people. But they missed that point. They failed that subject in elementary school.
I saw the NSF went over to Disney World. It seemed like they didn't join. Is there separation among the
I can't speak on them, but they do good work. We're trying to wake up white people.
Anyway.
Yeah. So when you look at shout out. Oh my God, Laura Schumer!
And they start calling the lady the F word, and not F-U-C-K. It's a different F word. I'm gonna skip that part.
Jewish people can have an ethno state. White people deserve an ethno state. Simple as.
Now, Israel is, by all intents and purposes, an ethno-state. That's the part that he's actually correct about. But the thing is that is Palestine. And it was stolen from the Palestinians. And even a lot of Orthodox Jews agree that no, the state of Israel should not exist in that region. Because they're literally doing what his people did to the indigenous people in this country. Here's my question. If you believe that you should be on your land and nobody else be there, then why in the hell are you on indigenous land trying to claim it as your own? That doesn't make sense. He's contradicting himself.
What's that?
And where do you want the Jews
To go anywhere but away from us.
Yeah.
Basically,
in America?
They need to go to Israel and leave us alone. White America, this is white America before the Hart-Celler Act in 1965. America was 90% white, and after the Hart-Celler Act, now we're about 57% white and shrinking because the Jews have opened up our borders, allowed all these non-whites to flood our white country and stuff, and we're sick of it. This is our country. The founding fathers were white. The naturalization said for free white man, okay? This is our country. We're not going anywhere. If anyone needs to pack up, it's everyone who's not white needs to pack up, get the fuck out.
What groups are in your coalition? I see GDL. It's obviously.
Now, in the raw footage, somebody asked him about indigenous and Native Americans. And he tried to wave it away saying, oh, well, white people were here first before them, which is complete and utter bullshit. You can just ask any archaeologist anywhere that will say, well, no, white people have existed primarily in Europe for thousands of years before ever coming to this side of the world. Because if white people actually existed in Europe and came here and existed here, then they would have stayed. And there would have been no need for somebody like Columbus to travel from Italy over to the New World. It wouldn't be a new world if white people had existed here, but they didn't. So therefore, for somebody like him to say, oh, well, it started off white, that's complete and utter bullshit. That is a lie. And so here's the thing I also want to say, because the rest of this video is just them marching and chanting in the suburbs. Just let me show you. I'm gonna turn the sound off, so you guys can see. These motherfuckers went to the suburbs. I'm telling you right now, Cranes Rouge Park and Altamont Springs is the suburbs. It is mostly white, right? They would never, ever come to my neighborhood. I live in the hood. I would love to see them come to Pine Hills. I would love to see them. Oh, let me pause this for a second. That's Ford Fisher, and we'll get the word from him right after I say this. But I would love for them to come down to Gore and Paramore and Westmoreland near downtown Orlando. I would love to see them try that shit in the hood. I would love to see them try that in Tangelo Park. In my neighborhood, I'm on the east side of John Young Parkway. The east side of Americana. Right? I would love to see them try that in Mercy Drive. Oh my God. Try that at Mercy Drive and WD Judge. Try it. I would love to see that. Please. Go to Washington Shores. Go to Washington Shores near Columbia Avenue. Go around Lake Man Apartments. Go near there, man, and try that. Try that in Richmond Heights. Go ahead. Try that in the hood. You won't fare so good. That's what I'm saying. Now, this isn't the only spot that they showed up. They also showed up at the happiest place on earth. So I'm going to share this with you guys. And these guys are a little bit different. They're a little bit different. They're a little bit more, how should I say, they're not the non-violent ones. See, the other ones were the red shirt wusses that were like, they were the red shirt wusses that were like, no, we just wanted non-violent and wake up white people. These guys are more true to their Nazi roots. Let's go.
This is the only thing that flag is truly good for. To do anything less than that with this degenerate piece of shit, one is promoting, condoning, and encouraging this. No more in America.
So they're right in front of Walt Disney World, which is pretty much the biggest entertainment capital attraction in the world here in Orlando, Florida. So I have Nazis to the north of me and Nazis to the south of me, basically. And they were literally at the gates of Walt Disney World, which basically is in front of Lake Buena Vista. I know exactly where that is. All I got to do is jump on I-4, and I can be there in like 15 minutes. That's where that is. Let's continue.
Thank you, man. Get out. Nobody wants to.
How much longer will you allow the beaners to come in and burritotize Florida? How much longer are you going to allow the Jew to continue to parasite himself off of your hard work, off of your energy, off of the things that you do? How much longer are we going to do this, ladies and gentlemen?
Black people have been asking that question from them. Well, black people have been asking that question in regards to them. Like, how longer are we going to allow these fuckers to colonize whatever we do and whatever we produce? Why?
But the time has come that we have to stop. You defense of the white race. We can't even get our own government to stand for the white race.
So I'm going to share something that was kind of weird. So let me share this also. This was like weird to me. Wait. I should have timestamped it. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Because we support a lot of his policies.
Oh. So this is it. Okay. Let's go to right here. Let's go.
Why the DeSantis flag?
Because we support a lot of his policies.
So there's DeSantis supporters. That's no surprise. Let's continue.
A lot of his.
And he says that blacks benefit.
That's all they're good for.
So you agree with the statement that he made?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So these guys are basically saying the quiet part out loud. They actually want us to be back in slavery. They want us enslaved again. That's basically it.
What, slavery was good for the black race?
Fuck yeah.
How was it not? Seriously, ask yourself that. How was slavery not good for the black race? They want recomp.
Oh, we can go over this many reasons why, and we also know that this bleached Slim Jim is full of shit.
Compensation for being here and all of this other shit. But please tell me, wasn't the fact that they got to stay here compensation enough for slavery?
You mean kidnapped, stolen? Half of us died on ships, and we literally had to jump to our deaths. Some of them actually threw us off the ship, and then half of us died because we were jam-packed below deck, where we had to sit in our own feces because they kept us in chains, and then they brought us here, raped, tortured, beat, and all the like. Hell, you guys fed our infants to alligators. Wait, what? Is that what he's saying?
When you stop and you look at the colors over in Africa right now, how are they living? What type of environment do they have? What type of civilization? Do you see them driving around in brand new cars? Do you see them living?
No, dipshit, because of imperialism and colonialism. Because your people keep going to Africa and extracting their resources and stealing it from them. So if y'all got out of Africa, then maybe, just maybe, Africans will actually do a lot better. But they're not. Because you guys actually have to steal shit. I'm not talking about all white people. I'm talking about these dipshits. Because you guys have to steal the shit because you guys can't do shit on your own. Because your ancestors of these Nazis were too fucking lazy to do their own shit. And so, guess what? They literally had to steal it in order to actually be okay. Are these
living in actual houses? No.
And yet, a lot of people are now realizing that houses made out of mud are actually more sustainable and a lot more healthier for us. And now people are doing it. They're just doing it with 3D printers now.
Of course not. So the nigger being brought over here, forced to be a slave for 150 years, and then turning around and being granted free honorary membership as a citizen in this country.
Actually, slavery actually never ended because we have mass incarceration, and the 13th Amendment actually never got rid of slavery. It just shifted it over to the prison industrial complex.
That was payment enough. They have it.
No, it was not payment enough. You actually stole us from our land. And then when we actually needed reparations for what the fuck they did to us, then General Sherman was like, okay, sure, 40 acres and a mule. And then Andrew Johnson reneged on that. So now you guys are in debt for trillions of dollars because they failed to actually pay the debt that was owed to us. So no, this dipshit is wrong.
10 times better than anybody in Africa as we speak.
No, because the thing is that you guys won't get your grubby little ashy hands out of Africa. That's the problem. And so the reason why Africa is not being able to achieve what it actually wants is because of these European nations, these Western nations having their grubby little ashy ass hands and their resources without actually trading with them in a fair way. So all the shit is because of criminal activity that the Western nations have been doing. This is why places like Gabon, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger had to kick the French out because they're sick and tired of being taken advantage of. That's why, but he's too chicken shit to actually research it because he wants to be right.
So at that point, yes, slavery was the greatest fucking thing to happen to these people.
Racist ass motherfucker.
We've seen it. Where else do they do great? In other white countries that also had them as slaves in the beginning. Where do they do bad at? In the countries that they were born free.
Niggers really believe in violence.
Announced you guys publicly?
I don't believe so. We're Ron's Holocaust task force. We're his biggest supporters.
So, like, are you prepared? Like, what would you do? How would you respond to Ron DeSantis denouncing you guys? What would you say to that?
He's lying.
If it happened.
He's trying to secure the presidency. He'll say
Yeah, he's
whatever
running
he
for
needs to
president.
say.
He's got a face.
So they said if Ron DeSantis denounced him, they're like basically saying that he has to do what he has to do in order to get to the presidency. We know they're basically saying that we know he has to just say that in order to get to where he needs to go, but that's not what he actually doesn't mean to denounce us. That's basically what they're saying.
Israel actually gives out a document to all new politicians on how to answer the Israel solidarity with Israel. So Ron DeSantis currently is just doing smoke and mirrors with them to act as if he is truly a friend of the Jew, when in reality he is a friend of white America. And the most prominent example is his smoke and mirrors campaign of HB 269. HB 269 he signs in Israel. Think about that for a minute. Actually in Israel signing a bill of Israel, the people of America. And of course they instantly went said and done with, it didn't stop anything. The Jews have come to realize that Ron DeSantis isn't the guy they thought he was.
So there's another part where they actually asked him about Trump, and I found this to be actually interesting.
Is the only way America can still sustain itself and prosper.
Civilization is white. You know that in Africa they have a American colony, Liberia. It's a complete shithole. They don't understand how it works. They only understand brute violence.
You do realize he's going to beat your ass, right? Snicker, you're the snicker liquor.
Hey, are you saving money for when you're a single mom?
Handle that.
Did you guys like President Trump?
No, well, he's a pussy. He didn't do anything he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
And if you vote for him again, he gets in, he's not going to do anything. He married all of his kids off to Jews.
They don't like Trump. They actually don't like Trump. They hate Trump. Oh my gosh. All right, so I'm done with these dipshits. Okay. So that's basically what happened. And so you have one side that's basically wanting to put all of black people back into slavery. And then you have another side that just wants all the black people to go. So they don't know what they want. Because one side wants one thing and one side wants another. So they don't even know what the fuck they want. But the thing is that this is what happened, and it's a little too close to comfort. And they are trying to gin up this disdain among poor white people and working class white people in order to stay, in order to think that anybody who is different from them is the reason why they have the issues that they have. This is what happens when you get demagogues who are in the upper echelons of society. And what they do is that they go, hey, poor and working class white person, you know why your life is so shitty? It is because, and insert black, Mexican, or Latino, LGBTQ, neurodivergent, or they'll say immigrants or Muslims, right? Insert anybody that is disenfranchised in this country, and they'll always say, well, your problem is them. And then guess what? They will use the ideologies that these guys were spewing in order to make white people think that their problems will magically go away when people like me are no longer here. I'm going to give some white people a little dose of truth. Let's say hypothetically, their wishes all come true. We go, poof, all the marginalized people are gone. And America is now a white ethno state. There is nobody else left. Guess what's going to happen? Then there's going to be discrimination against Irish. Then there's going to be discrimination against Italian. Then there's going to be discrimination against anybody that's Eastern European. And it's going to happen again. Because the point is, it's not the fact that you have multiple people of different backgrounds, cultures, and creeds. The problem is the top versus the bottom. But the people with swastikas are too damn stupid to realize that. They're too fucking idiotic to see that they're being lied to by the people who own Raytheon, the people who own Nestle, the people who own Apple, the people who own Microsoft and Amazon and Twitter. They don't understand, they don't get it, and they don't want to get it. This is why dialectical materialism and intersectionality are so important, because then you realize it all comes down to class. That's what it is. If you're gay, it is not just a social issue, it is a class issue. If you're trans, it's a class issue. If you're black, it's a class issue. If you're disabled, it's a class issue. If you're a woman, it's a class issue, both cis and trans. If you are neurodivergent, it's a class issue. If you're an immigrant, it's a class issue. If you're a Muslim, it's a class issue. It all goes down to class. And that's the point. You have to realize that if you're part of any of these marginalized groups, you always look, we can go over all the statistics. It's always, well, if you're part of this group, you actually make this much less. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's a class issue. And they're so focused on the culture war that they have no idea that getting rid of people like me will never solve their problems. Getting rid of people like you is not the answer. The answer is the class issue. And once you walk away from misogyny, misogynoir, racism, homophobia, transphobia, xenophobia, when you walk away from Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, when you walk away from these things and you actually start looking at it from top versus bottom, you start to see people that look like me as your ally instead of your enemy. These swastika-carrying dipshits are literally doing the work for the billionaires. They're literally doing the work for the corporate dictators. That's what they're doing. And they're not in the hoods because, number one, they know they get their shit split. But secondly, because they're trying to recruit more of the white people in order to join their ranks, to think that just because there are people who may look love, worship, or identify differently than them, then somehow, some way, then if we get rid of them, the country will be better. And they do not research their history. Because I want to bet you about a third of those motherfuckers are Irish. And we all know how some of the ruling class, especially back then, felt about Irish people and Italian people and people from Eastern Europe, especially people from the Slavic countries. They see you as trash. You don't think they're still not going to go to that even after America were to become a white ethno state? Because it would turn from a white ethno state to a Western European ethno state. And then they would go from Western European ethno state to a British ethno state. The problem is they've allowed people to demonize and scapegoat anybody and everybody. And I played this and I did all this to bring this back to class. Ultimately, by the way, if we actually had it good in this country, what power would they have? The best way to beat these guys, the best way to beat down this ideology is by improving this country on a fundamental level. Housing, healthcare, food, education, utilities. Stop these wars. Get money out of politics. Because they can't recruit if people are doing good. Oh, it's the fault of the immigrants. When if you're doing good, you're not caring about more immigrants coming to the country. If everybody's doing good, they're not going to care about black people. By the way, if you get rid of the poverty issue, crime is going to go down. The fuel to their fire is getting taken away. The answer is communism. But they don't like that. So they automatically are assuming that we're the answer to their problem, when in reality, the people that look like them that are exploiting everybody are actually the problem. They're the problem. The system is the problem. But they don't want to hear that. And also, I am a believer that you cannot tolerate intolerance. Because once you start to tolerate intolerance, then that intolerance grows, and then it takes out everybody that we should be tolerant of. They have an ideology where they want to eliminate everybody and anybody that is slightly different. The difference between Nazis and communists are this. Nazis want to eliminate anybody and everybody that is different outside of this tiny little box. Communists just want to eliminate the Nazi ideology. That's it. And we want everybody of every color and stripe and box that is not damaging to other groups of people to thrive by means of the workers, by means of the people. That's the difference. One is a death cult, and one is a life cult. I want you guys to be here. I want you guys to stay here. I want you guys to thrive. And I want us to spread that thriving around the world. That's the difference. This is why I will be going out on the 23rd, along with the Orlando Mutual Aid chapter, to feed and to give out care packages. Well, we won't be feeding this time. We'll be giving out care packages to the homeless. Look at the difference. Look at the difference. Look at what Rome is doing and look at what these Nazis are doing. Which one is actually helping the people?